Look, I know these guys called the cops for me playing bagpipes in the middle of the island, right? That's what happened.
I mean, we're not cops, but yeah, they came and spoke to us, yeah.
Well, what do you want to say to me?
I just want to say that they pay for this spot in this location.
Stuff, right?
Correct. They are vendors in this location, and if you are...
I'm not asking for money, I'm working off tips.
That's fine,
I completely understand that. That's not the issue. The issue is
They don't have the right to tell me to vacate because they have a spot on that side of the walk. I'm out here in the middle of the island.
Sure, but if it's deterring business from them and you're...
Wait a second, I have the right to make a living as well.
I completely understand that you do. I'm not saying that you don't. They're just asking you, and based on what I was told is that he already came up and spoke to you.
Right, and I said no.
Okay.
And I have the right to that, and I have the right to be there playing the bagpipes, working off tips. I am about 15, 20 feet away, 30 feet.
Yeah, well,
I have no volume control. I'm not amplified.
If it's going to be an issue, and it's going to continue to be an issue, we're just going to ask you to move to another location. We're not going to tell you can't do it. We're just going to ask you to move to a different location in the park. That's all. Maybe even if it was just like
so
right
you're
over
saying
here
I had the right to stay there, but you're asking me to move over.
Respectfully, yes.
So listen, America was founded by rebels. July 4th, 1776. I had the right to say no and stay there. So what if I don't move after you ask me not to, and I refuse to comply with your request?
Well, then we could hit you with a sound ordinance, because although you're not amplified, we can hear your music from well over the distance that's necessary.
The Scots fought on the front lines of the American Revolution. You're going to tell me that there's a noise ordinance against
that's exactly what I'm going to tell you.
So the noise ordinance is unconstitutional, and the Constitution is federal law. So your little county ordinance is in violation of federal law.
The county ordinance, it's first off, there's park rules and regulations, then there's city ordinances, then there's state laws, and then there's federal.
Above that is the Constitution, which
this
allows
is not
me the
a federal
right to free.
Park. It's a city park.
Well, I've been to a federal park in Philadelphia, and they told me I couldn't play the bagpipes there in a federal park. So if this is not a federal park, and this is a what?
It is federal too. There's national parks rangers.
Well, I have federal rights in a federal park. Okay, so I had a federal right, my constitutional right to free speech, free expression, to play the bagpipes, and to make a living in a federal park, because that's federal law. Federal law is the right to free speech on a bagpipe, not amplified. So it's not an unreasonable sound.
Right.
So they can hear me. I can hear motorcycles.
Yeah, that's different.
How is it different?
That's motor vehicle law.
I can hear it in the federal park. More than 30 feet.
It's completely separate.
Look, there's already case law on this. Ocsan City, Maryland, tried this 2 years ago, and a violinist won the lawsuit. They had a county ordinance that said 30 to 50 feet. If you can hear you more than 30, 50 feet, you're in violation of the law. They got sued, and they had to turn over that ordinance. Okay, so I'm going to bring that in reference in the court when you tell me that there's this ordinance that says I can't
Sure,
play
we're
a
not saying that
was put in place in benefit of street performers. Believe it or not,
I'm not a street performer. I'm a street musician.
Oh.
I'm not performing in any way.
Bagpipe is an art. It's a performance. But yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from.
I get what you're saying.
You're making
I don't have a performance. Like I don't have a show. I don't have a circle crowd. Is what I mean. By English definition, I'm a street musician and a busker.
Right.
Oh, buskers are under that. They list
but
buskers.
You're saying we're all under this category as a street performer. I'm not a street performer, and you're putting us all under this class of people.
I mean, I'm not the law.
Yeah, you classified yourself as that.
Yeah.
That's where it is written in the law.
Yeah.
We're not classifying you. You just classified yourself.
Yeah, you just told us that, yeah.
They can't make a law that says this class of people is everything under this. No, I'm not a street performer. I don't fall into that category.
It's street performers, buskers, etc., under that law.
Well, I have the right to be here.
You can be here, yeah. But
I have the right to play the bagpipes right there. I know they're doing their thing over there.
How long is the knife in your pocket? I mean, in your sock?
I have the right to bear arms. I have the right to open carry. Yes,
How
I
long?
do.
No, you do not.
I have the right to open carry. You can see that I have a knife, right? It's not concealed.
How long is the blade?
It doesn't matter. I have
Yes,
the
it
right
does.
to. Second
There's a
Amendment
city
right, the right
ordinance.
to bear
Doesn't
arms.
matter.
Anywhere in the city, I can walk around with a knife. Yes,
That
I
is
can.
absolutely false.
That is not absolutely false.
That is absolutely false.
The city ordinance is in violation of the Second Amendment.
The knife can be no longer in excess of 3 inches. So
Well,
if
that's
you
if it's
really want to have
concealed.
if you
That
really
is-
want to have an issue right now, which I don't think you do,
That's-
we can get the
Look,
police
you
here
wanna be a
and then they
wise
can
guy?
address you.
You
No,
want to be a wise guy.
I don't.
Leave me
You-
about
you
about
want-
my
you-
Second Amendment and my First Amendment right to bear arms. You can see I have a knife, right?
Yes, that's correct.
The 3-inch rule. The 3-inch rule about knives has to do with concealed weapons. This is not concealed.
Okay.
You can see it.
Alrighty. So are
It's
you
solid
are
plastic,
you
it's
refusing
not a
to
blade.
move from this area? Are you refusing?
I'm going to come back tomorrow with wearing my body camera.
That's totally
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
You
Go
can
for
do
it.
that.
Record this
You can do that.
arrest.
This is a public park. You
They
can
will record
film
this
who-
arrest. They're not going to buy out my right to be here because they own a business.
No one's buying out your right.
Look, this is why we have to talk about it in court because you obviously want to be stubborn. I know what
How
rights
am I
have.
being stubborn?
You're telling me I don't have the right to carry a knife in the city.
How long is it?
Doesn't fucking matter. It's not concealed. You can see
You
that
just
I
said
have
it's
one.
not concealed. You can barely see that.
It doesn't matter, dude. I have the
How
right.
long is the knife?
None of your fucking business.
Alrighty, well then we're gonna address this in a different.
It's solid plastic. It doesn't have a blade.
Have a good night.
You want to look at it? Look at it.
I'm not touching your knife. I'm not asking to see your knife. I'm asking you how long is it?
It doesn't have a blade. It's solid plastic. It's fake. It's a traditional piece of my uniform. I'm supposed to have it. Bagpipers are supposed to have what's called a skein-do.
Okay, well there's laws that say you can't carry knives in public spaces, including a park
It's
and
not
the
a
city. You just told me it was a knife.
I said I had the right to carry a knife.
You said you have the right to bear arms.
I have
under
the right to
Second
bear arms.
Amendment.
I have the right to carry a knife. I didn't
You
say this was a
obviously
knife.
do not understand the difference between federal, state, and local laws and ordinances.
Yeah,
I'm
federal
sorry.
is above state and local laws. The local
Actually,
law.
the federal government gives the power to states to make up
Yeah, but
their own rules.
yeah, no,
That's
you're talking
why
about the
it's-
10th Amendment. The
that's why
10th
it's-
Amendment
that's why it's very
cannot violate the
hard.
4th. No, you're talking about the 10th Amendment, which gives counties, cities, and states the right to make their own laws. But they don't have the right to make laws against your federal constitutional rights, which is the right to bear arms, the right to free speech. They cannot make a county ordinance against those.
So why can't people own specific guns in Massachusetts when they can own them in New York?
Because at the time when they wrote the Second Amendment, all they had at the time was musket balls and black powder. They didn't have automatic rifles or atom bombs.
So you're saying everything is open to your interpretation?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying atom bombs weren't invented back then. Otherwise, everybody had
How did we
had
get
a
on the
nuclear
topic of
missile silo in the
atom
back.
bombs and nuclear missiles?
Because you asked me a question, I answered it.
So you're telling me
There's
that,
certain-
that's a fake knife? It's
It's
plastic.
a fake plastic knife. It's a traditional piece of my uniform that I'm supposed to have. Now tomorrow I expect you to stay off my back because I will stand my ground.
That's totally fine. If it's going to continue being an issue, then the police are going to have to come. And, they're
And
gonna
I will
have to
file a
address
federal
it.
lawsuit at the federal
That's
courthouse.
totally
What
fine.
is your name and badge number?
I don't have a badge number. My name is Ranger Bowman.
Okay,
Yeah,
Hartgrove.
Ranger Hartgrove, yeah.
Ranger Bowman.
Yep.
I will document this and we'll go to jail tomorrow.
We'll go to jail.
Well,
What's your name?
You're saying you're threatening. You're
I'm
saying
not threatening anything.
So
I'm not
if I don't
threatening
move and
anything.
I don't comply, what? You just said I had the right to be here.
That's correct. You do. You have the right to perform.
So
or
if I
whatever
continue
it is
to
that
play,
you
what are
say
you
that
gonna
you're doing.
do?
But
What?
you can't violate the park's laws, is what we're saying. You can be here all you want.
I'm not amplified. I can't turn it down.
I get that. Which is why we're saying, as a concession, you can move to a different area of the park where it's not disturbing the business here. And
It's
you'll be
not
totally
disturbing
fine.
business.
They just,
Well, they told
Yeah,
us
they
that
told
you
us
are.
that, yeah.
That's not up to your determination. That's up to them to tell us that if you're deterring or not deterring
But they're
customers.
going to have to prove that I'm
well, they can like,
stopping their business. Now look, 30 feet away, I'm not standing in front and telling people not to buy stuff.
That's less than 30 feet, but yeah, you're close to it.
But I'm not an inch away, standing in front of the line telling people not to buy shit.
I completely understand that.
yeah, I get that, but
They have a simple complaint. They pay a lot of money to have
They
this
can
stand
set up
here.
anywhere, right?
No,
No,
they
they
cannot.
can't,
They
no.
paid for that specific location in the park. That's why we're saying if you just move to another area, you won't have any
Between
problem.
those two blue boxes.
yeah, you'd be
I would
better
say
over
that-
there.
I
Yeah.
would say
I was
that's
on
better,
I
yes.
was on the corner and she said, no, more down. I'm not going to
Who
be
said
Yeah, who's
that?
that?
the lady in the middle who called the cops in the red shirt. Well, she was on the phone. I don't know who she called. But that wasn't far enough. Then she wanted me to move over further.
Okay.
But-
Is this like your go-to spot?
Well,
Or do you care if we make a recommendation for where you to go?
Well-
Because quite frankly, I think you're very good. And I enjoy you, but when we have other people that pay a lot of money for their spots, we're just trying
They
to find
can't buy out my right to be here either.
No No one's buying out your right to be here. You have
This is-
you're here for free. You're not paying anything. You're not buying anything out.
There's 6 passageways that all intersect here. I'm here trying to catch all the people.
Sure.
No,
to
I get
express,
what you're trying to
to
say.
interact with the public and play the bagpipes.
And we're not saying that we don't want you to do that. We're just trying to find some common ground. That's all we're trying to do.
Which is, look, my father's fought in the front lines of American Revolution. I know the law of my land. These people obviously are not from here. They don't speak one bit of English. I want to play right now.
Regardless of that, if they're going to keep on making the complaints, it's going to go way up and over our heads, and you are going to end up dealing with whatever it is, Boston police or whoever might come down here and say no.
Well,
they have the paperwork.
Like you said, you're not a cop. You're a park ranger.
That's correct.
So the cops. It's
But
their job to know the law.
we have park rules and regulations, which includes and then there's
So I go play over there and I'll be left alone.
well, I'm not saying that in particular. If they already told you that you're playing over there and it's a problem and they confronted you about it, I would just say go a little bit farther down.
Oh, that
down
corner
the way.
is where I was by that pool,
The
puddle.
track? Okay.
Puddle.
Okay.
But if they're just going to complain every time they hear me,
I think they just are. They don't want you to be in such close proximity. That's all. I don't think they care if they can hear you. I think their complaint is that it's so loud because you're so close.
Yeah, but if I give them an inch and they see that I can move there because they asked me not to, they're going to take a mile and just rather me not be here. Because if I had
No,
my way, I'd be the
that's
only one out
that's
here.
not.
can't
No,
happen.
that
No,
can't
that can't
happen. They
happen, yeah.
cannot do that. No, they
Okay,
cannot
so
do
I'll
that.
play right there.
Yeah, where those
Between
two
the
blue boxes
I'll
are.
stand in the grass with my can on the curb, and that'll be a good distance
I mean, I don't know.
Park rules, I mean.
for
park rules.
I think that should be okay. I mean, I have other recommendations of areas where you could go where you definitely wouldn't be an issue, and you would still have the same amount of foot traffic, if not even more.
Okay, where do you recommend I play?
I would say there's a massive intersection in the park that's up by the Brewer Fountain up there.
Is that where the gate is? There's a gate.
There is a
What
fence.
kind? There's a fence there.
Yeah, there's a fence there. Yeah.
That's like the most busiest intersection of the park.
Okay.
Or heading down towards the public garden, which is the next park over. That is also a very, very busy park where people actually linger. Like they're not. This is a commuter park, so people are coming through very, very quickly. That park, people just stay and walk around because it's natural beauty.
Right. Well, so there was this bucket drummer in front of Finial Hall. He said play in front of this gate because all the intersections of the walkways go through that place. And when I looked at the map, it looked like this is where he was pointing. And he must be talking about a gate down there.
Oh yeah, right
there's
there.
gates.
Yeah.
There's gates in the
two
public
gates over
garden.
there, yeah.
There's a
in
main.
front
This
of that
path.
gate. Okay.
This path right here it's a straight
Obviously
shot through
it's
the
not-
park.
As long as you're not blocking the gate, like you're enough away from it so people can actually walk through, that'd be the best spot ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right inside that gate, it opens up, and
So
then
he
there's
probably
rose
wasn't
beds.
even talking about this spot. He was talking about the gate.
I'd
Honestly,
say no.
there's hardly any performers that ever perform here.
Yeah,
He
I
said he had a
say-
friend that plays there.
Yeah. There's what instrument? The buckets.
Bucket drummer. His name is Joshua. He said he has a friend that plays in front of the gate in the park, and he.
Yeah, no, and the other